Hello again, my name is Ash and this is Zero Ash Podcast. Today we will talk about the album which did not necessarily have to come to light for one simple reason. It isn't finished to the extent that it does not cope with even the most basic musical tasks. In other words, it does not only offer anything new and interesting in its sound and content, it does not even entertain in any way like it was with the last BMTH album. Therefore, I recommend listening to this album only to those listeners who just want something new from this group, regardless of quality and content. For all the others, really, you'd better listen to Amo. So, for those of you who don't know, Roach is an American rapcore band known for a huge variety of rapcore works that were on par with and sometimes even better than any rapcore bands like Linkin Park, Limp Bizkit, etc. Over the years, the group did not always cope with the task of releasing a decent album that would be interesting not only for them to perform, but also for others to listen to. For example, even the latest Crooked Teeth album for me sounded much stronger than the current one, because the hope that the album decided to return to their stylistic origins and republish this good old rapcore sound was with strong choruses and somewhat edgy messages, which was joyful at the time, so this hope reappeared once with Crooked Teeth. Therefore, as you can imagine, I did not expect that in the next release the guys would really drop the ball. The album is called Who Do You Trust? And on the cover art we have a picture with some water from which we can see a little hand of a drawn-in person. It seems to me that this cover art was supposed to carry a message that not everyone needs to be trusted, and that even those whom a person trusts can cause him to fail, in all senses. Somehow, if I again do not overthink too much. In general, again, nothing particularly new in the message of the group, but this would be nothing if the text trying to correspond to this concept of the album would not be so impersonal and primitive. Okay, I understand perfectly well that we are talking about Roach and there is no need to expect overcomplicated lyrics from these guys and from this genre, but at least it was worth making it to at least some adultish or adult whatever, in the sense that it could resonate with the listener. Otherwise, this text will only cause confusion and misunderstanding about what happens in the tracks. For example, the lowest point of the album's text we can see in the chorus of the track Problems, which says simply I got problems, which really emphasizes all the primitiveness, and in some places the text is somewhat cringy, as in the initial track, the ending. Checkmate, there is no defending, this is the start of the ending. Or the text Top of the World, where several times the word nothing is rhymed with the word something. Rhymes like this rhyme is similar between shoe and low shoe. Whatever. As a result, the text is in its form and content is maximally primitive and lacks seriousness while also losing its emotionality, and I have lost the opportunity to empathize with this text whatsoever. And the music. Too much hack work, randomized. But not just a hack work, but a parody hack work, because half of the album tries to parody Imagine Dragons, like in the track Top of the World or Elevate, and not only vocally but instrumentally, because lightweight guitars, synth bass, maximal vocal volume and the use of stylistic details really have very much in common with the latest releases of Dragons. Come Around sounds like Avril Lavigne's early tracks, but without proper youthful enthusiasm. The track Feel Like Home sounds like it was ripped from Faint by Linkin Park, and the Maniac track sounds like it is a mess with absolutely unintelligible synth and LFO programmed bass, which can be done by almost every kid, every child who opens Fruity Loops for the first time. a separate, incomprehensible neo-punk break, which was quite confusing, to say the best, which is titled I Suffer Well, which also parodies old-school punk rock. As a result, the musical album turned out so disconnected and incomprehensible that it cannot be taken as a whole in any way and cannot be taken seriously. Moreover, after listening to this track, to this album several times, the impression was that the group was parodying rather than really representing a particular genre that was given to a particular track. That is, in the end, I'm really disappointed and upset because after a very really pretty good Crooked Teeth, this release sucks a lot, to be honest. Sorry, but this album is a real failure, at least for me. It really cannot cope even with the task of entertaining, but it perfectly coped with the task of making me bored and asking the question, how is that, how did it happen, and make me wonder about that. And even the rather strong choruses of the tracks, the ending and Better Than Life, did not particularly brighten the overall picture. That's why I'd rate it 1 out of 5, because even the most pop track Periscope from the previous release is much stronger in comparison. So, that's it for now. Thanks for listening. If you like this podcast, please give it a like, and if you're here for the first time, please consider subscribing. Leave a comment about whether you listened to this album or not, whether you liked it or not, and about what should I review next in my future podcast. And that's it for now. Thanks for listening once again. This was Zero Ash Podcast, and you'll hear me next time. Goodbye.